Hey guys, MacGuffin here, hope you're having a good day. It is Queen's birthday for me in New Zealand at the moment, so I'm getting some chance to actually record some stuff. And today we're going to be seeing a Protoss versus Zerg. And it is going to be MC versus Stephano. Now I'm actually going to be looking at 3 MC games in a row. And the reason because MC was previously an amazing player, he's still a very good player, but he really seemed to be undefeatable for a while, but then he sort of dropped off. But he started to come back a bit. And I remember previously he said that he'd never lose to Zerg. And of course every time he says that every time he fights Ardra, and he always seems to win. And it looks like he's got a low ground pylon going down. Yeah, he does. So of course it's going to be a Forge Fast Expand on Cloud Kingdom. That's such a small joke, why wouldn't you? Now what's interesting here is that I've specifically chosen Stephano to be as his opponent because I want to see Stephano himself using, well, the Stephano style. And of course that is when you get the quick expansion. However, you usually get the spawning pool first, expansion, and then a quick third to counter the Forge Fast Expand. And this build is extremely good versus Forge Fast Expand, and Stephano is really the pioneer of it. Probably the best person to actually try and use it against MC. So, but how will MC beat the Zerg if it's a build designed to beat Forge Fast Expand, but he never loses to Zerg? So we'll have to see if he can actually does something different to other Protoss. Because Stephano really should be maxing out around 12 minutes if he goes with his standard play. He is getting down about a 15 spawning pool, and that's a pretty economic build. He is getting a bit later for the extra economy. It looks like MC is sending his second probe down now, and he is going to be going Forge before Nexus. Yep, and a second probe is actually leaving the base. Might block the expansion of Stephano, which of course will be annoying, but with this spawning pool first build it doesn't really matter as much. So this is actually a bit curious what this probe is going to go. It could be going to his third because he'll know that Stephano will want to go for that. I see. It looks like he's sending it because he's trying to do a bit of cannon shenanigans. He just purposely didn't put it up here to stop it. He wanted to actually get a cannon going. But I assume he's going to cancel this in the last moment. It was a lot of drones pulled though, so he's probably going to come out ahead in that exchange. MC is just about to put down his expansion, and Stephano doing the same, so they're fairly even, although Stephano is about 3 supply down. The gateway should be coming up for MC momentarily. And actually photon cannon first. I think he could have got that photon cannon a bit later. But the spawning pool is finished. And I don't think Stephano's going to build maybe 1-2 sets of Zergling, but definitely not 3. He's already started to build drones, and looks like he might be skipping the Zerglings entirely, and I think that's a probably good idea in this position. He knows he's not going to get there in time, the cannons will be up. And then we do have that gateway coming in to finish off the wall. Now, Stephano should be getting gas around 6 minutes 30 with his build. And he should be getting a third almost immediately. We do see 2 Zerglings are going out, and these are the only Zerglings in the field so far. It looks like he is using their rally points to scout around. The probe is over here, and he does have 1 Zergling to chase it away, and he should be able to get his third fine. Though Stephano probably notices that MC noticed his probe, so it's no surprises that he's putting down his third at the moment. The expansion is almost up for MC, and he's just going with a standard Forge Fast Expand at the moment. As soon as the Cybernetics core is up, we'll see which way he goes. Of course, you can go into very strong 6 gate, and MC also does a lot of Stargate play versus these quick third builds, and that's really the big weakness to it. Although it's fairly easy to get a evolution chamber down and be safe from it. Nice moves by Stephano, not losing that 1 Zergling. It's just 1 Zergling, but hey, makes a difference some point down the track. These will be useful for keeping this probe in the base, and they'll probably start chasing the probe if it goes out. Of course, MC really wants to try and pull these Zerglings in and kill them that way. His probe can go around and look for places to cannon or put down proxy pylons. And a bit of a blunder by Stephano. It's not a major mistake to miss a probe, but it is something that he could have done. We do see the Queen is now extending the creep, and this is really the way you want to spread creep when you're doing this Stephano style. You get your second Queen, you go to immediately put a creep tumor at the natural and head straight for the third. This Queen will be at the third just as it about comes up, and it might have enough energy to inject or do another creep tumor. And without any Zerglings here, this probe could probably go straight into the main base and see everything that Stephano has. We do see MC is getting a Stargate, so that's going to allow him to harass. There's a very good spot here on Cloud Kingdom where you can hide overlords, and this could easily go into the base and see that Stargate, and that would give Stephano ample time to prepare for those. And of course with this creep starting out, he should be able to connect these bases relatively quickly and use all his queens to defend. The danger here is depending on how many Stargate units that MC is going to get before he goes into mass gateway units. We have a Stalker now controlling the watchtowers. Of course, no speed Zerglings will not be able to catch that Stalker, and of course he only had 2 Zerglings out initially. Looks like he's got 1 just scanning around, and he still hasn't built any additional Zerglings. Continuing to drone up, and he is now getting his gases, and also we see the Roach one coming up, and this is fairly standard for his timing. Queen going in to just ward away that Stalker. Now, how many Stargate units he's going to get? He's going to get a Void Ray, obviously. Then he's going to go into Mass Phoenix. When I say mass, I mean 4 or 5. Maybe 1 or 2 extra Void Rays, and of course with that you can lift up all the queens and just kill everything. No Spore Crawlers up yet, but I think Stephano will be alright. This Void Ray is likely to attack this, there it goes, attacking the Overlord, and Evolution Chamber is already down, so not going to do any damage initially, but depending on how many Phoenix he gets out, he could try and harass a lot of Overlords, and also the bases with just a couple of creep Spore Crawlers to defend against them. The Evolution Chamber is now coming up, and Stephano's reaching a really big drone count. He's up to 64 drones. MC's only about 51 probes. The gateways are now coming up, and he could actually just pump roaches from now on. However, it's going to be annoying to deal with these Stargate units, and it looks like Stephano's deviating a little bit. I'd imagine he would have started pumping all his roaches in production now, but it still seems like he's going a bit slower than he normally would be. It could be pressure. MC is a really good player, and Stephano might just be getting a bit panicked. Of course, these Stargate units make you want to run away. Now, the Zerg player does have a bit of an option here. He could just go to 200 Roach and try and smash in the front, and that's a very dangerous move, of course, because the choke is so small that force fields can probably keep it safe indefinitely. And of course, with enough Zerg Roaches, you can just power through Stargate units, and they will kill your Roaches eventually, but you just sort of push and keep pushing, and they can't kill you fast enough. However, Stephano looks like he's now moving onto the map a bit, and also MC is getting his 3rd Nexus up, or he's preparing for it. And the thing is, it's a bit strange to see a bit of Zerglings in this build. Usually you don't really have that many, if any at all. And with these many sentries, it can actually do quite a bit of damage, even though it's a small unit count. These Phoenixes are helping, and a bit of a blunder by Stephano. He's sending his units in at different angles. I think he wanted to get a surround, but all that's happening is he's putting his units into smaller groups and getting killed. These Roaches will probably die, actually. He loses all his Zerglings because they get to the battle first. And these Roaches are in great danger of being killed by these Phoenix. I think Stephano realizes that he is now withdrawing, and he is building more Zerglings, and he's also droning a bit. +1 is just about finished. You can't really run up the ramp at the moment with these units. There's a small Protoss army, but it's enough with force fields to defend against them. He doesn't have the advantage he normally would have, and this is weird. Stephano's style would usually be maxed out in the next about 40 seconds. However, he's decided to deviate and get a Spire and also an Infestation Pit. You might feel his play is a bit one-dimensional. He's trying to just mix things up a bit. Of course, these Phoenix do make it a bit annoying if you're running around. And he's chosen to deal with them with Infestors. He is going to Spire, but I don't think he's going to build Corruptors until the later of the game. And the reason for that is that if you get too many Corruptors, while you can beat the Phoenix, eventually you can't beat the ground army, and then the Protoss just wins anyway. By about 50% complete. MC is getting his Twilight tech now. He has got Blink researching as well as his Protoss level 2 weapons. He also has a Robo Bay coming up, and he's staying off in obs, and I think he'll probably get Colossus support with this sort of army. He could easily move into Void Ray Colossus if he wanted to. And even if it was just a couple of Colossus and a couple of Void Rays with a huge Gateway army, that'd be working out for him. But Stephano isn't maxed out, and the reason he went for that is because he's got a lot of Zerglings and he's getting Infestors. And that uses up a lot of gas, and I think this is actually a bit of a mistake. I can see why he wants to do this, and on this map, there's just so many chokes. I think he really wants to stop the Protoss from getting his 3rd base up, and now that this is established, Protoss is sitting happy at his 3rd. I think that the Protoss ballers are going to start to run away from him a bit. Of course, it's very easy to defend this base and switch between these 2 chokes. With these rocks up, there's a very small amount of attack run. And that's a lot of Zerglings, and Zerglings without melee upgrades versus these Protoss units are probably not going to do very much. He is getting The Warp Prism is now coming onto the field, and that's going to be really annoying to be harassed by. Of course, Stephano's only got about one Spore Crawler at his natural and his third, none at his fourth and his main. Well, he does have one at his main actually. Hive is now coming up, and Spire has not been used yet. Of course, I'm pretty sure he's just going to use it for Broodlords if he gets to that point. But the problem is, he's going to have to win one battle against MC, and this is a very strong Protoss army. And if he really needs that time for those Corruptors to turn into Broodlords if he wants to go that tech. And with this sort of Warp Prism play, I don't know if he'll have the time, because the Warp Prism, if he trades armies equally, the Warp Prism can start warping in units in the back of his base, and that'd be really aggressive play and annoying. Looks like he's forgotten a bit of his creep tumor spread here. Of course, it's a bit harder when you can't see up the ramp. Taking it to the third with the nice plate marker. He's got the force fields up. These Spine Claws are doing a really good job actually. He is attacking from the high ground. Unfortunately, he's losing a bit of Infestors, dropping a bunch of Infested Terrans, and unfortunately looks like he's going to lose most of his Infestors. And he does have some Corruptors to deal with those air units, but unfortunately the Stalker count is starting to run out of control. These Infested Terrans will help for a while, but they're just not going to do it. The Warp Prism is here to reinforce the army, and it's a kind of a complicated. It's now starting for the Protoss player, and that's really going to make it hard for Stephano. He's even in supply, but he can't seem to marshal his units together at the right time. And you see these Corruptors are completely useless at the moment. There's no Greatest Fire on the way yet, and it's not really something he can afford. Do see +2 upgrades for Zerg coming in now, but he just needs to get a big Roach Ball going to attack, but he can't seem to get the numbers he wants. Of course, he's going to lose his fourth there. His third is now no longer mining. His main's almost mined out, as well as his natural, so it's a big hit in economy. MC's economy is completely fine, and he doesn't need a proxy pylon with this Warp Prism, and it's just going in, and it's just going to go mass Stalkers until the win. And there's just not enough room for these roaches to get us around. He's got some drones in here, but the unit count is just too small, and there's enough Stalkers to just fill out this entire choke, and that shows just how much Stalkers MC actually has. He is now going in, trying to do some damage, and this Stalker count doesn't look like it's taking that much damage. The roaches are pushing forward a bit, but he can start doing a bit of blink micro. There we go, pulling him in a little bit. And it looks like MC is going to take this first game versus Stephano. Unfortunately for our Zerg player, of course, MC's never lose against Zerg. Reputation seems to be holding up so far. Stephano bring out the well played, very mannered, and pretty good game by MC, and we'll see how he does in the next game.